Right, here's our temporary solution. You can see that little guy down there. That's disconnected from the hard line, which is under here, you can't see. That hard line goes back to the blue filter on top of the fuel tank. That's basically the vent. So now it's venting to atmosphere down there for now. And then this is the purge solenoid, which I think is working intermittently, but I don't know. So we disconnected that. So in theory, the charcoal canister's down there. You can't see it. But there's like 2 or 3 there's all kinds of shit around it. Check valves around it, which one of them might not be working after 30 years. I don't really know. I don't care to find out at the moment. And then this is where the charcoal canister dumps the fuel vapors back into the intake and recycles it through the engine. So we disconnected that and then capped off the intake. So in theory, that purge solenoid is not telling this shit to do anything anymore. All this is sealed off, and the entrance back into the engine is sealed off. So in theory, I shouldn't have any vacuum leaks, because when I was venting the tank before, I would get like lumpy idles every once in a while. It was probably when the purge solenoid was working maybe and causing a vacuum leak. So I'm gonna drive this around here. I might go for like a 5-6 hour drive up through Rocky Mountain National Forest, or whatever the fuck it's called, and see what happens. The tank's venting to atmosphere now, so it should be fine. The only other concern I have is that fuel pump. Holy shit, these are dirty. That fuel pump was working overtime while the tank was all blocked up. And I don't know how much abuse it can take. So hopefully the pump's fine. I'll find out. If not, Daniel Schlatter, I'm not even sure if I'm saying your name right, I'm sorry, dude, is such a nice guy. He gave me a stock top hat with a super pump already in it, ready to go. It doesn't have the sending unit. I'd have to switch that over, but if I was in a pinch in the middle of nowhere, I would just fucking throw it in there without the sending unit and just to drive. I'm kind of leaning towards putting the stock top hat in eventually, because I hate that I'm relying on some rubber ass piece of hose where the stock top hat is metal. And I've had, I don't know, on 8 or 9 attempts with different mechanics, no luck getting that fuel sending unit to work with this Gonzo Labs top hat. It just keeps hitting the tray at right above half tank, and a couple other people have said they've had the same problem. So I don't know what to do about that. So I might just eventually go back to the stock top hat with the super pump, just because it's a Denso super pump and it's fucking bulletproof. I don't know. That's where we're at now, so we'll see what happens. Lastly, if this little temporary solution doesn't work to get me to Missouri, I'm tempted to just rip all this emission shit out when I get there. I don't really know how to do it, but Chris does, and I don't know. It would be nice not to look at all these goddamn vacuum lines and check valves and all kinds of shit everywhere. It's kind of annoying. And it takes up space, and it seems like a failure point. Clearly it has been a failure point. It's ruining my fucking trip. But if this temporary solution does get me to Missouri without any issues, I think when I get to Pennsylvania, if Hans happens to be there, because he's got all the hurricane shit going on, if I happen to be there when he's there, he lives, or his shop's like an hour from where I grew up. That's why I know him. He's been helping me out for 20 years. If I can get it there with this temporary solution, I'm gonna see if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, if he can get the stock purge system working correctly. Because I would like to keep it the way it is, just because I do rent a garage to store this, and I don't want that person's garage smelling like gasoline. I'm sure they don't either. Technically, I could just run a vacuum line underneath the car. I don't know how to flip this around, so I'm not gonna try it. And just have it vent under the car, and then whenever I store it, I could just plug that up, and then the gas fumes shouldn't be there. But I don't really want to fucking do that, because it's a pain in the balls. So we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna shut up because it's getting long.